So there are, admittedly, a number of really great rice balls really all throughout China. The most famous ones are probably over in Shanghai, but you can really find them in pockets everywhere up and down the entire East Coast. And the ones in Guangxi province are especially good in my personal opinion. But over on the exact opposite corner of the country, in the hills that are kind of nestled along the Myanmar border, you can also find rice balls. But these ones aren't the same fantuan that you'll find on the coast. These ones are Jingpo rice balls. Now, the Jingpo people, you might have heard them before as the Kachin people. And where they live is this incredibly rugged, mountainous area that's stretching from Arunachal Pradesh through the Kachin state in Myanmar and into the west of Yunnan. It's a really difficult place to eke out an existence. And if you'll forgive the stereotype, the Jingpo people, they're kind of badasses. Like, this specific dish, traditionally it used hunted meat. What they do is with a fresh kill, they'd take some of the loin, mix it with a little blood, and then mince it by hand with what's more or less a machete. Now, you can find similar kinds of things all throughout highland Southeast Asia. Like, down in North Thailand, it's a very dude thing to get together, slam some fire water, and mince up some raw bloody meat. But for this dish, it was the next part that really left an impression on me. What you'll do is then you'll take that mince and you'll mix it with chilies and herbs. Okay. But then you cook the mince by mixing it with hot rice. Somehow, with their bare hands. Now, my hands, they are weak and effeminate.
Seen hands like these before.
They're so soft and milky white.
So we'll be using a spatula, but besides that, this is what we want to do today. First, Steph's going to come in and she'll teach you how you would see this dish in West Yunnan today. Nowadays, people generally usually use beef, but because I'm pretty sure this dish is completely 100% new to the English language internet, we did want to teach you first our no-holds-barred, as authentic as our understanding version at first. But because this is also really quite delicious, and we did want you to actually make it, I'll then pop back in after and show you our personally crafted variant that uses nothing but ingredients that you could find in a normal, run-of-the-mill Western supermarket.
Bringing it around when hunting is the essence of this dish. So you will wrap your rice with some leaf, bring it into the mountains, and when you get your hunt, you will mix all that together with whatever herbs you can forage around you. So at its core, it's a very flexible combination, but these days you will see something more or less like this mix in Western Yunnan. So we'll have coriander seeds, garlic, ginger, spicy fresh chili, cilantro, and Thai basil. Plus, we'll also have culantro, which you may be able to find at Mexican grocers. And then we'll also have laksa leaf, which you may be able to find at Vietnamese supermarket under the name Zao Zam. Then we've got dou chi bing or tuanao in Thai. These are fermented soybean cakes, which we heard is available from one single vendor in New York. And lastly, something that's probably impossible to find, ma ti wo or ma ti cai or loi gong gan in Cantonese or ba bok in Thai. So with all these herbs, just finely mince them and set them aside. And next, we'll need to toast our spice and dou chi bing. So to a dry wok, toast half teaspoon coriander seeds on medium-low heat until slightly darkened and fragrant. Take it out, then toss in 10 grams of our dou chi bing. Toast in the same way and breaking it up using the spatula. Now, if you got the Thai ones, people usually just toast it directly over charcoal or fire. But because we have the thicker sort here, it makes a lot more sense to put it in a hot wok and break it up. So once it's slightly darkened and starts to have tiny blisters, take them out. Now, pound them into powder, coriander seed first, and then dou chi bing so that they don't kick together. Then now let's handle the beef. Here we have 100 grams of beef loin. Just patiently mince it till it's very pasty and set it aside. Now with some freshly cooked rice, which is 400 grams of dry rice cooked with a little bit less water than we would usually do. And now we have everything ready and let's assemble. So first, add all the seasonings into the beef. Let's set up here. Get your hands in and mix well. Then add in our pounded coriander seeds and 豆豉饼. Mix again. Then combine with half tablespoons of toasted chili powder for some extra heat. And next up, we'll add in our finely minced garlic, ginger, and spicy red chilies. Then finally, we'll add in all 5 of our herbs here. I know it looks like a lot, but trust me, the raw minced beef will be able to incorporate them all. Now, when everything is well combined, take our scalding hot rice, fluff it up a bit, then add in about a third first. Press down with a spatula onto the beef, then fold it over. Mix until there's not much white rice left. Then add in another third, repeat. Then finish mixing with the last third of your white rice. Now, after mixing with our raw ingredients, our rice is a lot less hot, so we can get our hands into it. So just take about 70 grams worth of the mixed rice, cupping it with some gentle force at the center of your palms. Once the rice feels kind of firm and the greens are not falling off anymore, put it aside. Then repeat and finish shaping all of your mixed rice. And now you have some herbaceous Jingpo rice balls. Maybe not as badass as those made in the jungles, but delicious nonetheless. So now I'll hand it off to Chris, who will show you how to adapt this into a Western kitchen.
Okay, so to make this Western supermarket friendly, the first thing that we'll obviously need to do is simplify the herb mix. So what we did is we really leaned in on the cilantro, so 30 grams minced up like we just did. And then for the basil, what we decided to do was use sweet basil instead of Thai basil, which I think online I might be alone in thinking that it's actually a really nice substitute for Thai basil. Like, they are a little different. Thai basil is a little more anisey, but I don't know, I really like sweet basil. It has this nice, almost clove-like undertone to it. Anyway, regardless, Thai basil, sweet basil, both of them are nice here, but we are still going to be missing a little bit of herbaceous depth. And we decided to close that gap with 15 grams of dill. Now, dill is kind of hard to find here in China. It was a little dicey getting it in from Taobao, but it is widely used in Lao/Isan food. Like in Thai language, it's literally called pak chi lao or Lao coriander, and it seems to work pretty nicely here. Then thing number 2, the beef. Now, the easiest route for us to go here would just be to call for the leanest ground beef that you could find, something like a 95.5 or maybe a 90.10. But if you are a little bit paranoid or snobbish about supermarket ground beef and you wanted to do a hand mince like we just did, something that I personally like doing for this kind of borderline cooked-ish dish is preparing the beef like I was taught how to make steak tartare. And that is first getting a big hunk of beef and searing all the sides of it in a really hot pan, kind of like you were making a black and blue steak. Then you just slice off the seared bits, and we'll put those in our rice ball too, don't worry. And then you can hand mince the rest like the first recipe. It'll be a little bit more sanitary because we'll be cutting off the bits that have been exposed to air. Or if you wanted to split the difference and do something like a home grind or maybe get something from a nice butcher, I think that would also be pretty nice too. So then we'll mix that in with our seasoning, which was slightly adjusted here due to the lack of that tonal fermented soybean, and then the herbs, then the hot rice, and then finally make those balls. And then with that, you've got yourself a pretty delicious rice ball that I do think hits basically the same notes. But yeah, I would say that if you are a hunter, this would actually also be really nice with some venison. And if you are interested in another Chinese dish that we think would be really great with game, definitely check out Steph's dad's recipe for Cantonese doggy duck pot. Or if you're in the market for another rarer Yunnan dish that we also adjusted for the Western supermarket, you can also check out our Yi People's Pounded Chicken video here. But either way, huge thank you to everybody that's supporting us on Patreon. The written recipe for both of these versions is down in the Substack link, and subscribe for more Chinese cooking videos.